Going straight to the pictures of the kingpin in the INX scam. Well, the judge called him the kingpin, and Chidambaram is en route Tihar jail. The former Home Minister of India, the former Finance Minister of India, ironically the same man who inaugurated the CBI headquarters and spent over 2 weeks inside. Chidambaram is now en route Tihar jail, and he joins the league of politicians who will spend time in Tihar jail. Let's go across straight to our reporters joining us live. Shavan, from thumbs up to 5% arrogance to going straight to Tihar jail, it's been quite a journey for P. Chidambaram, who also, by the way, has demanded a separate cell with a separate bathroom. He has been accorded jail 1, ward 7 is what we're given to understand at this point. But Chidambaram is en route the Tihar jail. And that's the latest bit of breaking news that we're getting for you, and the live visuals are coming in on your screens as the jail van carrying Chidambaram makes its way through the traffic in Delhi to Tihar jail. And just a little bit about P. Chidambaram's schedule inside the Tihar jail. The procedures that he will have to follow: the jail officials will check the court order and all applications that have been accepted by the judge, and a separate cell and western toilet facilities have been accorded. Special protection because he was the former Home Minister, and medicines etc. will be given to him. He will first undergo an identification test, and he will be then taken for a medical checkup. Sources in Tihar adding that he will be treated like any other under trial. No special privileges except those ordered by the court. As per the jail norms, inmates will be locked up at 9 p.m. Chidambaram's night ends at 9 p.m. Gaurav joining us on the phone line while we'll try and get you all our reporters live on the story. Chidambaram making his way to Tihar. A former Home Minister en route Tihar in a jail van. Gaurav.
Yes.
कोर्ट में क्या हुआ बताइए।
देखिए, कोर्ट में हमने जैसे प्रोसीडिंग लगातार देख ही रहे थे कि किस तरह से लगातार कस्टडी में जाना चाहते थे पी चिदम्बरम। उनके वकील लगातार को
Okay, seem to have lost the phone line. There, I think there's another soundbite of Karti Chidambaram coming. Let's try and listen in.
This is a process which we are well aware of. I've gone through the same thing last year. So we'll go through this process, and I hope to have my father back home very quickly, because I know what has to be done through the legal process. And this is how it works out. Unfortunately, after police custody for investigation, this sort of judicial custody follows. And I reiterate once again that both the Aircel Maxis and the INX case are non-cases, and they will never see the light of day. They'll never be, I don't think proper charge sheets will ever be framed, and we'll never have trials. But for political reasons, we have to go through this process where vehement critics of the government will be targeted, and we will deal with it. For political reasons, we have to go through this process where vehement critics of the government will be targeted, and we will deal with it.
But what about what the Supreme Court has said?
I think you should contrast. There have been multiple orders today, so you must contrast. I mean, they are both about the FIPB, and there is a trial court which has seen voluminous documents, which has come out with a ruling. I respect the Supreme Court. I think people must independently contrast it. They must also contrast it with the judgment of Justice R.S. Garg, who gave in the similar matter concerning me on the 23rd of March last year. So all these judgments, I know there are contradictions within the various rulings, but once people read it, they will know what's happening. And I still maintain these are non-cases. There will never be a charge sheet. If they actually have any evidence, they would have filed a charge sheet by now. This is only being done for theatrics. It's only being done for the media. It's only being done to silence vehement critics of the government. This is a pattern. It's a pattern which perhaps started off with me. I'm not necessarily considering myself important enough, but it followed with my father. It's followed with Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, and Mr. Atul Puri is now being the nephew of Mr. Kamal Nath is also being put through the same rigmarole. And there are others who are being summoned. So I'm sure this is going to be a continuing pattern for this government. It's going to be 1 month since the lockdown in Kashmir. I think to divert the attention from Kashmir and to divert the attention from the dismal economic scenario. These kind of theatrics will continue, but we have full faith in the judiciary and we will have our day in court and we will be vindicated.
Let's also cut across live to Shavan. I think Shavan is getting us the details of P. Chidambaram and the schedule that he will now have to follow in Tihar. And a little bit about P. Chidambaram's schedule at the Tihar jail. He's the latest politician who will be spending time in Tihar jail. And we'll just tell you a little bit about when his day will start and when the day ends. As per jail norms, he will be locked up at 9 in the night. And in the morning between 6 and 7 a.m., he will have to wake up. And breakfast is served in the morning, which could be dalia or bread, tea and biscuits. Food in Tihar is prepared as per calorie requirement. After breakfast, inmates are allowed to take a walk or exercise. Since he's under trial, he can retire to his room. Lunch for Chidambaram will be served between noon and 1 p.m. And lunch will be dal, roti and sabzi. An inmate is allowed to watch television or go to the jail library. Jail officials say that if court allows, he can also meet his family members and lawyers. Dinner served for Chidambaram between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Day starts at 6 a.m. Lunch served between 12 and 1. Dinner between 7 and 8. Chidambaram's night ends at 9 p.m. And he continued to talk about the economy even after being arrested. Let's go across to Gaurav.
है और ये पतली पतली जालियों के बीच में आम कैदियों की तरह पी चिदम्बरम दूसरे नंबर की गाड़ी में बैठे हुए हैं। 3 गाड़ियों के बीच में दूसरी गाड़ी में है, बीच की गाड़ी में है और लगातार पुलिस एस्कॉर्ट कोशिश कर रही है कि वो भीड़ में से निकालने की कोशिश करें। हालांकि जो आम कैदी होते हैं, ऐसी दर्जनों गाड़ियां जो हैं दिल्ली में रोज कोर्ट लाई जाती हैं और तिहाड़ ले जाई जाती हैं, लेकिन पी चिदम्बरम क्योंकि जो अपने रसूख का घमंड रखते थे, वो आज जब जेल जाने को मजबूर हुए हैं, तिहाड़ जेल जाने को मजबूर हुए हैं, देश की सबसे बड़ी जेल में, तो जाहिर तौर पर उनका घमंड तो टूटा होगा, लेकिन बैठे बैठे अंदर सोच जरूर रहे होंगे कि आखिर उन्होंने ये सब ना किया होता। लेकिन फिलहाल हम तस्वीरें बिल्कुल दिखा रहे हैं जहां पर जी
Okay, and we stay with the live pictures of Chidambaram being taken to the Tihar jail. As we speak, the convoy with P. Chidambaram wanted and being investigated in the INX media scam. As a former finance minister, the allegation is that he misused office and his son made kickbacks. And Mahima is joining us from outside Tihar jail. While we stay with these pictures, let's go across to Mahima. Mahima, take us through the preparations at Tihar.
Yeah, Niranjan, we are giving you the live visuals outside Tihar jail. You can see right behind me is the Tihar jail, wherein we have the cell number 1, wherein that is what we people are learning, that in jail number 1, Mr. Chidambaram will be kept. It is a big setback for former Union Minister, wherein in jail number 1, ward number 9, Mr. Chidambaram will be kept. So we are giving you the live visuals outside Tihar jail, wherein you can see the kind of security that has been beefed up. We have the CRPF, we have the Delhi police personnel here. Any moment from now, because the jail is in Janakpuri, so from Rouse Avenue to Janakpuri, the distance seems to be of 45 minutes. So any moment from now, Mr. Chidambaram will be brought here. So you can clearly see the visuals that we people are giving you is Sankhya 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the jail that are here at this gate. So what we people have learnt is Mr. Chidambaram will be kept in jail number 1 in ward number 9. That is what the latest that we people are learning. So it's a massive security that has been beefed up here. We have the CRPF personnel along with the Delhi police personnel, a major setback for the Congress leader, despite of having a sense of notion today that he will be provided with some relief. The top court denied the anticipatory bail, which tended to be a major setback for Mr. Chidambaram. He tried all the tricks in the book not to go to the Tihar jail. He tried even to surrender to the AG, but now, any moment from now, he'll be brought to the Tihar jail. These are the live visuals that Republic TV is giving you. Any moment from now, he'll be brought here. We have the massive security here. Though he made several demands before getting arrested, before moving to the Tihar, he made the demands of having a separate cell with a bathroom, with a court. Though these demands were approved, and any moment from now, he will be brought to the Tihar jail. Back to you at the studio.
Yeah, stay with us, Mahima, and she's outside the Tihar jail getting us the preparations that are underway, the details which are available with Republic TV as well. That's the schedule for P. Chidambaram, the former Home Minister, the former Finance Minister, who will face jail time. Next 2 weeks, he will be in Tihar. Let's cut across live also to Jitender getting us the updates.
मैं बताऊं कि 15 से 20 मिनट में वो यहाँ पर आ जाएंगे। जैसे कि गौरव बता रहे थे कि सरदार पटेल मार्ग पर वो इस वक्त उनका काफिला है और यहाँ से करीब 20 मिनट का रास्ता है वहाँ का। बिल्कुल।
Yeah, and we'll get you the live updates as Chidambaram's convoy makes its way through the traffic in Delhi towards Tihar jail. We were taking you through the schedule of P. Chidambaram inside Tihar because he'll have an early start in the morning and he will have an early end to his evenings. A little bit about the schedule. As per the jail norms, inmates will be locked up at 9 at night. In the morning between 6 and 7 a.m. he will have to wake up. And breakfast is served, which could be dalia or bread, tea and biscuits. It is as per calorie requirement. And after breakfast, inmates are allowed to take a walk or exercise. Since Chidambaram is under trial, he can retire to his room. Lunch will be served between noon and 1 p.m. And lunch in his case will be dal, roti and sabzi. An inmate is also allowed to watch television or go to jail library. Jail officials say that if court allows, he can meet his family members and also lawyers. Dinner is served between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Let's cut across to Shavan, who's also getting us a report.
इस तरह का पुख्ता एविडेंस है उनके खिलाफ जिसके कारण से वो इतने दिन से ईडी की कस्टडी से बहुत डर रहे थे। अब आज वो आम कैदी की तरह तिहाड़ जेल जब वो पहुंचेंगे, आम कैदी के जैसे उनको खाना मिलेगा, वही चीज़ वो डर रहे थे, उसी से वो भागने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। यहाँ की उन्होंने आज एक एप्लीकेशन उन्होंने कोर्ट में दे दिया कि अब मैं तैयार हूँ, अब मैं ईडी के कस्टडी में आने के लिए तैयार हूँ। ये वही इंसान है जो ईडी की कस्टडी से, ईडी के समन से भाग रहे थे।
And Shavan is also joining us live. In fact, all our reporters tracking the latest on your screens from showing the thumbs up when he was produced in court for the first time. That's Chidambaram on day one. 5% arrogance. That's him 2 days back when questioned by reporters on what he felt about his custody being extended. He said, 5% economy. That's my answer. 5% economy, state of the economy. Well, Chidambaram may have forgotten that when he was the finance minister, the economy and the GDP slumped to 4.8%. And that famous soundbite of P. Chidambaram is still, very much prevalent. We'll play that out at some point. But from 5% arrogance to thumbs up to being sent to Tihar, it's a big setback to also the Congress party, which tried to defend P. Chidambaram all along. Remember, 2 leaders in the Congress party and 1 linked to the Congress party are being investigated and are in jail. P. Chidambaram, D.K. Shivakumar and Ratul Puri, who's the nephew of Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Kamal Nath. 3 big arrests, and the Congress party calls it Vendetta. As far as P. Chidambaram is concerned, let's once again play the response, the first response that came in from his son, Karti Chidambaram.
This is a process which we are well aware of. I've gone through the same thing last year. So we'll go through this process, and I hope to have my father back home very quickly. Because I know what has to be done through the legal process. And this is how it works out, unfortunately, after police custody for investigation, this sort of judicial custody follows. And I reiterate once again that both the Aircel Maxis and the INX case are non-cases, and they will never see the light of day. They'll never be, I don't think proper charge sheets will ever be framed, and we'll never have trials. But for political reasons, we have to go through this process where human critics of the government will be targeted, and we will deal with it. For political reasons, we have to go through this process where human critics of the government will be targeted, and we will deal with it.
But what about what the Supreme Court has said?
I think you should contrast. There have been multiple orders today, so you must contrast. I mean, they are both about the FIPB, and there is a trial court which has seen voluminous documents which has come out with a ruling. I respect the Supreme Court. I think people must independently contrast it. They must also contrast it with the judgment of Justice R.S. Garg, who gave in the similar matter concerning me on the 23rd of March last year. So all these judgments, I know there are contradictions within the various rulings, but once people read it, they will know what's happening. And I still maintain these are non-cases. There will never be a charge sheet. If they actually have any evidence, they would have filed a charge sheet by now. This is only being done for theatrics. It's only being done for the media. It's only being done to silence vehement critics of the government. This is a pattern. It's a pattern which perhaps started off with me. I'm not necessarily considering myself important enough, but it followed with my father. It followed with Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. And Mr. Atul Puri is now being, the nephew of Mr. Kamal Nath is also being put through the same rigmarole. And there are others who are being summoned. So I'm sure this is going to be a continuing pattern for this government. It's going to be 1 month since the lockdown in Kashmir. I think to divert the attention from Kashmir and to divert the attention from the dismal economic scenario. These kind of theatrics will continue, but we have full faith in the judiciary and we will have our day in court.
Shravan joining us live from outside the Enforcement Directorate office, but also I think we have the first copy of the order, the court order. Shravan, even the court has noted once again that the charges that Chidambaram faces are very, very serious, and there's no let up in that. No matter what Karti says, no matter what the Congress party says, they can't run away from the fact that there are serious charges.
And no wonder, Niranjan, he was basically marked as the kingpin of this entire scam. The Delhi High Court verdict was scathing, to say the least, and that has been upheld by almost every court where this hearing actually took place, where they say the magnitude of this entire scam is so huge that it cannot be ignored. And as far as P. Chidambaram's role is concerned, that has been under the scanner. Now, what's very important to point out here, Niranjan, is that here is a man who's been avoiding Tihar jail from the time that he's been in the CBI custody. In fact, he made the statement that he was happy in the CBI custody. And today, in a bizarre turn of events, you have P. Chidambaram saying that he's willing to surrender before the Enforcement Directorate. And it's important to point out here is that this is the same man who's been avoiding all the summons that have been sent out by the Enforcement Directorate, and the fact that he's aware that if he's once he's inside the Enforcement Directorate's custody, he knows that this entire investigation is not limited to just one case where he can tackle. It is more than one cases. You're looking at 6 such cases which is already under the scanner, and they're looking into his role when he granted those illegal FIPB approvals. And that is exactly why when this case came up for hearing in the court, and when the Enforcement Directorate basically provided some information to the court in a sealed envelope, you had the defense counsel objecting, saying that the investigation is over, the investigation is complete, and there is absolutely no need for custodial interrogation. Juxtapose this to what has happened today in the court, where you have the same person saying that now I'm all set to go to the Enforcement Directorate. This only means that P. Chidambaram wanted to avoid Tihar jail at any cost, and he perhaps employed almost every trick in the book to avoid going to the Tihar jail, and that's unfortunately that did not happen. Today you are looking at P. Chidambaram just like any other under trial who would be spending his days and nights in Tihar jail till the time Enforcement Directorate basically seeks his custody and takes him into their custody. But till that time, you would look at P. Chidambaram spending his days and nights at Tihar jail just like any other ordinary under trial who would be served the same kind of food like any other person. So certainly no special treatment, and of course not the air-conditioned room that he was enjoying in the CBI custody. That is not going to happen in Tihar jail.
Yeah, and I have the copy, the order copy with me, and if my video journalists can just, while we stay on the live pictures, just on one side of the window, we'll show you the order copy and some of the serious charges that are observed by the court. The judge says that offences in question for which accused is being investigated are serious in nature and have far-reaching ramification. The accused is a powerful and influential person in public life and wields substantial and pervasive influence over witnesses and thus a substantial potential of tampering with evidence. Letter rogatories have been sent to concerned countries and executive reports are awaited, and the accused, wielding his influential position, has ensured that investigating agency does not get the details sought in the aforesaid letter rogatories, that there is every possibility that accused will interfere with the investigation by tampering of evidence and thus frustrate the investigation, which is at a crucial stage. Very, very scathing observations by the court while sending Chidambaram to Tihar. Once again, go through this. Offences in question for which accused is being investigated are serious in nature and have far-reaching ramification. The accused is a powerful and influential person in public life and wields substantial and pervasive influence over witnesses and thus a substantial potential of tampering with the evidence. C. Letter rogatories have been sent to concerned countries and executive reports are awaited, and the accused, wielding his influential position, has ensured that investigating agency does not get the details sought in the aforesaid letter rogatories. D. There is every possibility that accused will interfere with the investigation by tampering of evidence and thus frustrate the investigation, which is at a crucial stage. Now, those are the observations of the court. Very scathing, to say the least, Shravan. Scathing that he could tamper with evidence, and also letter rogatories, the diplomatic process.
You know, the enforcement directorate, or for that matter, the CBI only fell short of saying that he is a flight risk. You've heard this sort of a statement that was made by the enforcement director of CBI in cases of Nirav Modi. If today he was equated with Nirav Modi, perhaps it would have been the biggest jolt that one would have expected. But coming back to what you've been saying, that as far as the Delhi High Court verdict is concerned, and now what we have seen in the Supreme Court also, what becomes absolutely clear is that the court is convinced that this is a case which requires further investigation, and as far as a role of P. Chidambaram is concerned, that becomes extremely crucial, requires further probe too. But talking about the fact that magnitude of this entire scam is something that is a huge cause of concern. Remember, we are talking about a former union minister who's basically involved. In fact, in the Delhi High Court, they're saying that there should be strong penalty, or perhaps a strong sort of a punishment when it comes to involvement of parliamentarians in economic scams. That in itself is opening up the Pandora's box, because this is exactly what Mr. P. Chidambaram has been avoiding all this while, and passing the buck, also raising questions as far as the judiciary is concerned. So these are perhaps over the last 10-15 days what we saw is bizarre arguments put forth by the defense counsel with regards to this verdict that was passed by the Delhi High Court, questioning perhaps the verdict in itself. And now you are looking at this very man who has been desperately avoiding Tihar jail. That became extremely evident from what transpired over the last few days when he ensured that he wanted to avoid Tihar jail at any cost. And today finally he goes before the court and says that he's willing to surrender before the enforcement directorate. It is well known that they are panicking at this point in time, simply because they did not expect that suddenly this entire investigation would widen, that would involve other cases, that would involve other FIPB approvals that were granted during his tenure. This is something that perhaps even the Chidambaram camp did not expect, which is finally happening right now. And there is the Panama link that too has emerged in the investigation that has been carried out by the enforcement directorate. He somehow appeared to be a little bit more comfortable when it came to the CBI investigation, or for that matter when he was in the CBI custody, primarily because it was the INX media case, which he perhaps believes that there is not much evidence.
Shravan, I need to take a short break, but I'm going to point out to one part of the observation that was made in this court order. And the court order says that the allegations, because it's a very pertinent point, very important point, and I have to point that out. The allegations against the accused were found serious, therefore he was remanded to police custody. The investigation of the case is still in progress. The CBI has apprehension that because of his status and position, the investigation may be hampered by the accused. It is not a case where the accused can be released at the stage of considering his extension of remand as submitted by the learned senior counsel for the accused. Now, having considered all the facts and circumstances of the case, nature of the offences, the stage of the investigation, the accused is remanded to judicial custody. Now, this is very, very significant. The application stands disposed of, reading some pointers. And at this point, we'll take a short break. Anytime now, he will reach Tihar jail. I think he's already reached Tihar, if I'm not wrong. Traffic, right. Let's take a short break and come back with the live pictures as Chidambaram heads to Tihar. Those are live tracking shots.